Well, it's time again for Harry TV. We're going to talk about Jesus. We're going to talk about Jesus again. Oh, I would appreciate it if you would like this video. It helps me to get more circulation through YouTube. If you would like the videos. And if you want to be able to easily find my podcasts that I do, then you will want to subscribe, become a subscriber. But we'll pick up in Mark's Gospel, where I left off the last time. And we're going to start with Mark's Gospel, chapter 10, the very first verse. It's a question concerning marriage and divorce. He set out from there and went to the region of Judea and across the Jordan. Then crowds convened on him again, as was his custom. He taught them again. Some Pharisees came to test him, asking, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife?" He replied to them, "What did Moses command you?" They said, "Moses permitted us to write divorce papers and send her away." But Jesus told them, "He wrote this command for you because of the hardness of your hearts. But from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder." It says, when they were in the house again, the disciples questioned him about this matter. He said to them, "Whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery against her. Also, if she divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery." Divorce was never in the picture in God's plan for mankind. It was never in the picture. When two people were joined together in holy wedlock, in marriage, the two became one flesh. The two became one. And it says here, male and female. Not male and male, not female and female, but male and female. They each have the counterparts in their body to please one another. A man and a woman become husband and wife. They marry one another. But God never designed for two men to marry or be together. He never designed for two women to marry and be together. He says, from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. There was Adam, and then he created Eve from the side of Adam. Took one of Adam's ribs. Says, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother, and the two will become one flesh. They'll have sexual union together. They are no longer two, but they're one. What God has joined together, let no man, not anybody, put them asunder. Marriage in God's kingdom and in God's law was for life. When you joined to another, it was for life. But because of the hardness of the hearts of the men, and especially the religious leaders, divorce was allowed. It wasn't acceptable, but it was allowed because of the hardness of heart. A man takes him a wife. All of a sudden, he sees a younger model and says, "Oh, wow, I'd like to have her." And then you have polygamy, where a man has more than one wife, especially among the kings. Or you'd have them saying, "Well, this woman I married to begin with isn't pleasing me anymore. I'm going to divorce her. Here's your right of divorcement. Get out of here, woman." And he takes him a younger woman. Oh, one that's pleasing him. She's still got them good looks. You know, it's something how when we get older, we lose them physical looks, don't we? They kind of waver. And it's sad that we go so much by looks, especially men. She looks good. She can please me. But who wants to marry an ugly woman? There was a song years ago, a country western song, when the honky tonks were big. They'd have the mechanical bulls and all this. A song that kind of went like this: "The ladies all get pretty at closing time." Oh, you get drunk enough, you ain't gonna care what she looks like. Listen to me. You take a woman to wife, she is your wife. You take a man to husband to be your husband, he's your husband, period, for life. There is no such thing as divorce under God's law. It was only allowed because of the hardness of the heart. You ever notice something? It didn't seem to be a problem with the women wanting to divorce their husbands so much. They made a commitment, they stuck it out. You don't hear about divorce being granted to women to divorce their husbands. It's the men divorcing their wives. Why is that? Because you know good and well that there were men that were abusive to their wives, just like there's abuse today. If anyone has an excuse to leave the man, it'd be the woman when she's abused. We get into Corinthians and some studies that Paul does. We're going to read about that. About a woman not having to stick out in situations such as that. There are exceptions that are made in the New Testament for divorce. But it's not God's way. It's not what God created, a man and a woman to be together. They were together for life. No divorce. If you cannot accept it, stay as you are. Stay single. But remember this, if you stay single, then you're going to have to offer your body a living sacrifice to God and learn to live without sex. Because sexual immorality is a sin. But Jesus went on to the disciples and told them, when they had questions about this, Whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery against her. And if she divorces, and Jesus went on, and if she divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery. So apparently there must have been divorce. I don't remember reading about it throughout the Old Testament, but there must have been divorce for the woman. Because here he says, if she divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe he said it to kind of spell out and make sure there's no misunderstanding. But I don't recall a woman divorcing her husband in the Old Testament. But the men were allowed to divorce their wives for whatever reason. Give her a writing of divorcement, send her on. Moses allowed it because of the hardening of your hearts. But does that make it right? That's something to think about, isn't it? If you're going to make a commitment, make it. If you're not going to make commitments, don't say, well, we'll just live together. We'll see how it works out. Well, that's sexual immorality, and it's wrong. For any man and woman, or even two men to live together with the idea of sex is wrong. Now, I can remember in college, I had me a roommate, old Lance Fettner. He was my roommate in college. We weren't homosexual. We were good friends. We were good buddies. And we even shared an apartment after college for a while. Until he up and met someone and got married. I more or less introduced him because I got him to go back over to Alabama Christian College, where he met his wife-to-be. Maybe I was trying to get rid of him. No, I was just kidding. But, we're two men to be together sexually, or two women sexually, a man and a woman to be together sexually, is sexual immorality. One is just as bad as the other. You don't say, well, we don't want to get married, we just want to live together and see how it works out, see how we get along. Well, you're never really going to see what somebody's like until you get that piece of paper that says all of a sudden you're married. And then it all comes out. All of a sudden you find all kind of things. Oh, why did I marry this person? Listen, God designed marriage, a man and woman. And in Bible days, the parents selected your mate. Did you know that? You didn't select your own, they select, and you were together. In God's design, patriarchal age, and in the beginning, they were together. They stayed together. Adam and Sarah stayed together. Husband and wife till they died. There was no divorce in the beginning, and God designed it that they come together as husband and wife. Adam and Eve didn't have a choice. God made the woman from his side. This is your woman. This is your wife. Eve, this is your husband. And they were together. You know they must have had quarrels and fusses. Man, I was married long enough, I could tell you, them fusses come. Doggone it. Just can't have nothing. Oh, he's got to have it his way. She's got to have it her way. But you learn to work together. And that's what marriage is. Marriage is not just about sex. And is the sex any good? There's a lot more involved. Two people working together to build a life together, having children together. It's designed to be a relationship, God's intention, you're together for life. It's an example of eternal life that we have with God. It's supposed to be. Marriage is an example of a relationship that should be with God. If you can't have a relationship, a man and woman together, the question is, can we have a relationship with God? Because marriage is a type of relationship like that of a relationship of us with God. So we get to see what it's like, two people together, building a life together, having children together. It's intended for us to be together till death do we part. But in relationship with God, when we come in relationship to Him, it's eternal. It's eternal. Forever and ever and ever. But there is something that can separate us from God. Our sin. There shouldn't be, but it does. Marriage was intended, and Jesus says it very plainly. One man, one woman, as it was in the beginning, husband and wife, they are together forever. No divorce. Don't go and find you a mate, and don't even enter the idea, well, if we don't get along, something happens, we'll just get a divorce. If that's your attitude, stay single. Because believe me, there's going to be all kind of reasons you can find for getting a divorce. Don't even discuss divorce. Has nothing to do with anything. You are together. Work it out. Work that relationship out. And nowadays, we kind of select who we want to be with ourselves and not parents. So select very carefully. Select very carefully. Because marriage, God's intent, is always, forever and ever. Just like our relationship to Him, forever and ever. Do you believe that Jesus Christ is God's Son? Do you want to have the hope of eternal life? Do you want a relationship with God and to be with Him forever? Look below at God's plan for mankind and accept God's plan for mankind and let Jesus come and live in your heart. Will you do that today? God bless. So I talk to you next time.